What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Kevin Eats World. We have a very special guest, my lovely wife, the one and only Sammy Pie Rosé. On this episode, we're going to make a really delicious appetizer. We're going to make a stewed tomato and goat cheese crostini. And Sammy's here to tell us a little bit about the history of the dish.
So, my husband and I love to entertain, and he loves to make super complicated, time-consuming dishes that stress the shit out of me. So we came up with this dish. It's super easy to make and takes no time at all.
Yeah, so like my wife said, it's a very easy dish. There's just a handful of ingredients. The first of which is going to be some organic tomatoes. I like the color medley just because I just like the way it looks, but you can just use plain old grape tomatoes. We'll use some goat cheese, garlic, olive oil, salt, and pepper, and then any other seasonings that you want. There are a couple key points when you're making this dish. Sammy, what are some of the things that we should keep mindful of as we make this?
First thing is that you should take the goat cheese out about a half an hour before you're going to use it so that it kind of, defrosts and it's easy to spread and it's nice and soft. Number 2, take your time with the tomatoes. Let them burst and blister. Don't burn them. So nice and slow and steady. And number 3, lots and lots of garlic for this Italian girl.
So we're going to go ahead and chop up some of the vegetables. We'll stew down the tomatoes, and then we'll assemble and mangia. So 2 quick tips, when you're chopping and also slicing the tomatoes. The first of which is when you're doing a lot of chopping, especially when we're going to get into the garlic, and you notice that your board's slipping around a little bit. You can either take a wet dish towel and put that under your board, or I just like to use a little bit of a plastic wrap, and that'll keep your board nice and steady. The second of which, when you're slicing tomatoes, you want to make sure your knife is super sharp. But if you're not really sure how to sharpen your knife, a key trick is really where the stem would attach to the vine on the tomato. If you actually use that as your anchor point to slice, that'll be a nice spot for your knife to catch through the tomato. Alright, so now that the tomatoes and garlic are chopped, we're just going to go ahead and throw it all together into a bowl. Our son is very excited about this recipe. We're going to do lots of olive oil, and then lots of salt. The key in this dish is seasoning, lots of pepper, and then we love crushed red pepper, so we're going to go ahead and throw that in there. Sammy's going to go ahead and mix that. While Sammy's mixing that, in our last video we had some French bread that we threw in the freezer, so we're going to use the same French bread. You want to cut them about 1 inch thick. You don't want to do any thinner. You want a little body to these, because once you put the goat cheese on, you put the filling on, it's going to have a lot of weight to it. So you want to make sure you give enough size there. And then Sammy's going to go ahead and turn the stove on behind us. You want to start probably at a medium heat. Again, you're not trying to sear anything here. You're just really trying to cook down the tomatoes. So you can really just throw the mixture in right away. I know, buddy. I know. And then we'll just, a Pam olive oil onto these. He's very excited. We'll have our oven going already at 425 degrees. The tomatoes will go down. Probably they'll take about 20 minutes. And then once the crostinis are done and the tomatoes are done, we'll go ahead and start plating. So once your tomatoes get to this point, they're really starting to release a lot of the juices. You'll want to turn your heat down to a little bit below medium, in between medium and low. As they're starting to break apart, you definitely want to continue to reduce these, but you don't want to burn the garlic. Okay, so this has been going for about 20 minutes. This is pretty much the texture that you want here. The first 10 minutes, everything's breaking down, the juices are releasing, and then the next 10 minutes is just continuing to reduce this down so you get a nice thick consistency. We'll let this cool off probably for a couple minutes so it continues to congeal together, and then we'll go ahead and plate. Okay, so now that the tomatoes have completely cooked down, I let them cool for about 10 minutes just to let everything kind of just work together and tighten up just a little bit. And really now all that's left is to go ahead and plate. So Sammy's going to start spreading the goat cheese onto the crostinis, and then I'm going to go ahead and start putting the topping on. Super easy appetizer to put together. We'll put the couple on the plate here. We'll do one more.
And it's super easy to spread since we've set it out for about 45 minutes.
Yep, exactly. And then if you want to, just kind of fancify this thing, or show your friends that you're a little fancier, you can just put anything that's contrasting color. You can put some parsley. You can put them on top of there. You can put it on the plate. Really, it's entirely up to you. And then you have a super fancy looking, delicious dish that is not that complicated to make. Enjoy.